Welcome back to another episode of the Captain's Lounge, episode 28. I'm your captain. I am joined with the gang. I am joined with Captain, Cyber Cap. I keep going by your old name. My bad. You change your fucking name for like every fucking 7 months. How you feeling, man?
I'm doing good, man. It feels good. This is second week in a row that I've been on stream, so I'm slowly coming out of my technology hole that I've been stuck in for the last several months. So it feels good before I disappear, because I got some special things coming. So yeah, it feels good, man. Can't complain.
Dad Pad Gaming, my dread light brother. How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm feeling good, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of excited. I told my wife I was excited to be here. You know, y'all know I have been under a rock. I went to sleep at 9:45 last night, dog. Like I am a be up till 4 o'clock in the morning and just like thug out the next day kind of guy. But I'm at a new job now, and it's a desk job. I will fall asleep, so I have been prioritizing sleep, and I'm just excited to be here doing something that I want to. So yeah,
Right.
hip hop, good stuff. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, I had to take a nap before this shit because I got this, and then like in 2 hours I got another like recording for then and now. So I'm like, let me go ahead and get this nap in and get ready for this shit. But I got you guys on because there was a discussion I feel like we had to have. I haven't talked music with y'all in a good little bit. So I figured there's been topics and shit going on within the music industry and within the cultural zeitgeist in general that I feel like has required a conversation. So I figured let me get the game together and let's have this discussion. We're gonna start with reacting to a few clips here. I have two short, I think like a minute and some change clips that are going to introduce the situation, as well as give us a potential bad take on the situation that we can then correct. Because sometimes we don't need to have everybody's opinion when it comes to.
Is it as bad as the take as the dude with the games?
Potentially one potentially.
Oh,
All right, let's go ahead and start this first one.
Breaking news, and I can't even believe I'm saying this, but for the first time in 35 years, there are no rap songs in the Billboard Top 40, a cultural shift that's got the industry abuzz. As of the October 25th chart, SZA and Kendrick Lamar's Luther dropped out after 46 weeks, leaving the highest rap record, NBA YoungBoy, Shot Callin', stuck at number 44. Now, to put this in perspective, not since 1990 and Biz Markie's Just a Friend has hip-hop been this absent from the mainstream. Now, analysts are pointing to Billboard's new recurrence rules, which removes older songs faster, plus the total chart domination of Taylor Swift, locking up the top 12 spots on the top 40, but some are saying there's deeper forces at play here. From the decline in hip-hop's market share down to 24% from 30% in 2020 to a cultural shift amid a conservative wave boosting country and pop. Some scholars are saying mainstream's rap machine got too sanitized and apolitical, losing touch with the radical roots that built it. Others are saying this is the calm before the storm, before a creative rebirth and the explosion of the underground and the indie movement. Either way, it's a moment of reflection for the culture that built the charts in the first place. Story developing.
Thank you, white man. Moving into the potential bad take. Let's get into this.
Love the Clips album, Chance's album. All these albums are great albums. They lack singles, they lack hits, right? And if there's no balance of hits, to Head's point, it's like that we're not in a healthy state. The music business is based off market share. If the other genres are kicking our ass on the charts, that is concerning, and that's not good for hip hop. That doesn't mean we're in a drought per se. It's not electrified like that, but it's just like we need to compete. And again, I'll say one last thing is you can only play one fucking record at a time. You can only listen to one song at one time. So it's about a song. Like there's record, whatever you call hits, classics, whatever. It's like prioritize a single. It's hard to make a single. It's hard to make a hit. It's hard to do it.
Yes.
Put more work into it. There's so many things wrong. Like people aren't putting enough time to prepare to make that record, to listen to other voices outside themselves of what that record should be. Everybody wants to be their own independent force, as we've said many times here, and just throw all this music out there. But it's like, no, we need to reassess the situation and like value what we have. And if we're making great albums with artistic freedom on one side, that's great. But we still have to put a premium towards making big records and singles and hits because hip hop grows with that. You know.
Okay, Rufus. That was for sure the bad take there, in my opinion. But
let me just very quickly, because this grinds my gears already. His point is nullified in its own because, as we just said in the last video, what Taylor Swift has 12 songs on the top 40.
Mm-hmm.
Does Taylor Swift have 12 singles out?
I think she dropped the album that she just came out with recently.
But that's what I'm saying though. They're not singles. That album's been out for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or some shit. It's not like brand spanking new, fresh off the press. Like, so just already his whole you need to make sure it makes singles doesn't make sense because already 12 of those songs, we might have 2 singles out of the 12 songs that Taylor Swift have there. So I mean, yeah,
it's a really bad take. For y'all that are again maybe coming in a little bit later, a lot of this is already explained, but essentially, rap is not as popular as it seems to have once been. Because on the Billboard Top 100, there are no rap songs within the top 40. I think, like as the gentleman said, I think the closest one is 44 with the NBA YoungBoy track. So we are going to have a discussion about the state of rap and hip hop, conversation that we've had a few different times, but more so if this shift, it seems, is good for the culture or bad for the culture or just the rap game as a whole. Because personally, I'm at a point to where I feel like I'm kind of happy that rap has kind of died down a bit. Because I'm especially when looking at the music we just got this past year with the clips dropping. Me and Greg listened to the JID album on stream. Tyler dropped a solid project. You know, I'm a fan of Monleo. I thought she dropped an okay project. It seems like there's been good music that's come out this year. But for whatever reason, none of the songs on these great projects are piquing the interest of the mass audiences. And by the mass audiences, we kind of understand that's the Wahite people. Because for the most part, if you want to have a hit, you have to have music that the non-melanated folks are going to love and they're going to buy since they dominate the market because they're spending the most money and they're the majority of the people here. We're the minority.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing that I'm happy about when looking at this as a potential topic is like the one gentleman said, when I'm remembering the history of hip hop, it started off as a way to one, have fun in regards to like that party movement and that kickback era, as well as a way to be radical and speak against things. When you're looking at what's the one group I'm thinking about? Oh my God,
Grandmaster Flash and the Superior Squad and NWA,
right after
and
them,
Public Enemy.
NWA.
Public Enemy. That's what I'm thinking about.
That was the first 3 groups. I literally had this conversation with my homie, one of my close friends. I tell him about the podcast. I'm not to cut you off, but
no, go ahead.
Really was breaking it down from where hip hop started and what people need to realize of like, you know, it started off with just the MC people listen as the message. And I was like, no, you have to go before that. Hip hop actually started as the DJ rocking the party, having a good time. And the MC was originally just a hype man. We didn't get to a DJ and a man actually rapping that tough until we got to Rakim and the whole New York thing. Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5 with the message. I cannot disrespect them at all. They was, the pioneers of that. And then Rakim was that one cat that came in with the bars. And then you go down Big Daddy Kane and all the Slick Rick and all those. So that's where hip hop was. And it was really tailored to our culture, what we was going through. And so just so I'll start it off. I think hip hop's in a phenomenal spot right now, in my personal opinion. I think we're great. One of my favorite artists right now, Larry June, worked with Alchemist, and them niggas put out God work.
Yeah.
So and they're not doing it in a point where, if I'm being honest, I'm tired of hearing about Black trauma, which was the street culture what we've been through. That ran the industry for the past 7 years. I'm no longer with the pain of hearing about young Black men trying to kill each other, having ops. That is tiring, and we need to walk away from that. I understand that street culture. You know what I'm saying? There's things that I don't understand anymore because I'm not a young man. I'm not out there, and that's they're just speaking their reality. But at the same time, hip hop's more than that, and a lot of people are tired of it. Larry June talks about equity, getting your money right,
getting money,
being
outside, catching a vibe.
Catching a vibe. I'm at that point where like Jay-Z, he elevated his way of rapping to I'm just living a different lifestyle right now. And I'm at that point where I'm living that lifestyle. I'm catching the vibe. I'm traveling with my lady. We're here in Naples. So, and those albums are what I'm really enjoying right now is what I'm listening to. So I think hip hop's in a phenomenal spot, just like soul music. Like it's out there. Phenomenal artists are out there. Like you have to look for them and you have to cherish them and support them. Cause I swear to God, there are some phenomenal pieces of bodies of work out there.
Oh, absolutely.
Where you at with it?
So, like for me, is I feel like the big thing is a lot of people forget like there are 5 pillars of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like Charlie, you're a little younger. Perry, you might know them, but without Googling, do you know what the 5 pillars are?
The 5 pillars in regards to you talking about like the people, like a Mount Rushmore type of situation, or you talking about like the aspects of it?
The aspects of it.
I'm going to say, what's the word I'm looking for? Like I say revolution, but I'm thinking about this being radical.
Isn't it DJ, MC, and breakdance and graffiti and knowledge?
Absolutely.
Oh, there you go. Somewhere way completely different.
It's all good. And the point to that is that a lot of people are not aware of that. So when you say that hip hop is in a bad state, it's hard to agree with that in the sense of like commercialism. Like hip hop was never born in commercialism. You know what I'm saying? Like there was a point where like hip hop had to fight to get on MTV, and that's part of why why BET in particular got so popular when it did, because of Rhapsody and Cedar's World and all these other shows that came out, your 106 and Parks, to combat the male washing of the music industry at a time where we couldn't get our music on other platforms. And the reality of the matter is, when you look at what breakdancing, like, yeah, it was in the Olympics. Like, regardless of how people feel, breakdancing comes from hip hop. When we see graffiti, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody remembers, during the Not Like Us, one of the biggest things that happened and people were talking about was the big murals of Kendrick that were popping up everywhere. When you talk about DJing, like, how many times have you seen like these viral videos all over the internet of people in these hole in the wall ass clubs going crazy to like the craziest like DJ mixes? I think when you really think about it as a whole, hip hop is actually okay. I think that this is a LeBron James ass statistic, because if you would have just moved it down to the top 50, you got Young Boy NBA in there. And if you really would have just moved that up by a week, put some respect on her name. But Megan Thee Stallion just went into it with the my man.
Yeah.
So it's like, people are freaking out about this, but reality of the matter is, I think that we have to get to a point to where, like, bring hip hop back to what it was in a sense. And I think just music in general, because I do think that there are some issues. And funny enough, like before I even knew I was doing this, at my new job, like one of my benefits is I get to listen to so much music. This week, I have listened to almost Jay-Z's entire catalog. I've listened to Outkast's entire catalog. I've listened to maybe like half of the Gang's catalog, and just like a bunch of random other artists, like just here and there. And the one thing that I do think that there is an issue with this is we have a issue with not having bad music. And that sounds crazy, but the reason why I think bad music is important is because when you listen to an album today, you'll hear some songs that are skip songs, but ultimately those skip songs sound like songs that they want to be that next banger, but something's quite not right. But one thing that I notice is, like, as I listen to Stankonia, like arguably one of the greatest hip hop albums ever, there's a couple songs on there that are stinkers.
Speak on it.
And that's not anything bad, because reality is the reason why we don't get those songs where it's like, what the fuck is that today, is because everything is so safe. And when you hear, like, I listened to Jay-Z's album, Kingdom Come was terrible. Like that album is ass. But also, it was experimental, and we heard Jay-Z do a lot of shit that we would never imagine him to do. And I think that that's like one of the biggest issues is that the sound is static. And when we talk about the top 40, like, is there concern to be had? Maybe. I do feel like overall hip hop is okay, but I do think it is a red herring of what's to come if we don't have someone that is willing to make a weird song that might be trash, but also might be the new wave. So that's where I'm at.
I because I can agree to a certain extent on that. I think there's not fully thought out projects when it comes to hip hop. So like I've been going down this Jay-Z rabbit hole when I go for my runs, and the Blueprint has literally been on repeat. I think I've changed my opinion. Like I think the Blueprint's better than the Black Album, where from beginning to end, he's rapping and you follow this journey. And so it's literally you're sitting there listening to not everything is sonically put together well, from the lyrics to the beat to the chorus, from beginning to end. And of course, there's some skippable ones, but they all sound good. They all flow well. And it's like at this point in time, we don't have that type of music where it has that longevity within the song, that time frame of when people are willing to sit down and listen to like a 4-minute track. And so I definitely respect that. And we don't allow music to age. Like it has to be the hottest thing coming out at all times. I'm like, y'all have to allow this music to age so you can really let it sit and marinate, so you can feel what they're trying to say. And I think it's time for us to really appreciate some of the albums that came before, and then some of the albums that are come to pass, because I know this is going to be a topic, and you brought it up, NBA Youngboy. Tevin Studdard in Indianapolis, he's a community leader, and Aaron Green, same thing. I'm saying their name because they need to get spotlight on them or what they do for the kids. Brought things to my attention. NBA Youngboy is a kid who's a young man who's hurt, and he's speaking a language to the young kids that we may not understand. So we call them capital crash outs, but them kids feel it, and that music ages well to the point where I'm like, I'll go back, I might not feel it, but there'll be songs like, damn, I can see this, because JP will listen to something like this. I'm like, this is hot. But I couldn't get it when it came out. I had to let that music age for me to catch on it. And so I to me, again, I think it's a beautiful thing we're not in top 40. We no longer need to look at I got to spend the money being in the top 40 more. Like, no, let your music age and see if it hits.
Let it cook.
Let it cook. Let's see if your cook is good enough for the people to actually fuck with it. And if not, we're not fucking with it. And it doesn't have to be club bangers. That's the biggest thing that I think it is. We do not need to have music that is always club bangers.
Yeah.
Bro, say that again for the people in the back of the chat.
We do not need, hip hop does not need club bangers to be good music. Like we need, we have so much club bangers music that I swear to God, if you DJs will just mix it well, the club will be jumping. Y'all keep playing the same Future, Lil Durk bullshit every time. Play some new music,
bro.
Or mix some old shit and hot.
I'm just saying though, like first of all, I think a lot of this does have to do with the club too. You know, we are in the era right now where when these kids go to the club, these kids ain't going to the club to dance. They going in there to look cool. And what looks cool, but being with the trendiest shit. But think about this. When our parents went in the club, it wasn't just the hottest song on the radio that was playing all the time. Like, could you imagine niggas today in 2025 clubbing the 50 Cent in the club, The Game, How We Do, Tupac, How Do You Want It? Niggas are not going to party to that. You might catch that at the house party, but like, I think that a lot of it, and I hate to say this because it sounds like such a dinosaur ass thing to say, I think a lot of it has to do with the social media era, dog, because everything is so here and now and everything goes so quick. Like, one of the things that I've really tried to convince myself to do is to really start spending more time and sitting with albums more, because it's like there's so much music that comes out. And like, think about it. When we were kids, an album would come out regardless of what it was, and it might be 16 tracks on it, which let's bring back like 12 to like 16 album track. Like, I hate to see these artists dropping 30 track albums because it's a streaming game. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? We spent time with that. That was like one of the last like albums of that era where you got an album, you spent time with it. But the thing is, because we get it and we listen to it a couple times, and we're like, oh, this is a banger, and then people just move on to the next thing because there's something else out. You don't have to spend money on it. But back in the day when you bought an album, you know what I'm saying, you spent your $15 to $20 on it, you had to sit with it. You know what I'm saying? And we don't have to do that anymore. And I think that is also one of the issues with it. Like, hip hop is an investment.
No, I actually think that's why I think vinyls are important, because records, you have to sit there and listen to the whole thing. Like, you're going to listen to the entire project that's there, and you can be like, okay, I'm really listening to it. I'm hearing everything that comes with it. So it's literally the artistry. Like, I'm looking more into like not just your lyrics, your beat choices that matches the lyrics. Like, what are you trying to say at this point in time? Like, I want to go on a journey. I know what type of artist that I'm gonna get usually with the music I'll get. So one thing I got to commend Greg too, because he pointed out on NLE Chopper.
Mm-hmm.
If that wasn't a diss track that he was making, that is an experimental thing that I think was actually really good. But it's because the concept, how it was delivered as a diss track, and the diss track to that individual does not. That's my biggest issue, because I'm like, who NBA YoungBoy is. Like, how you go about it, and I'm just like, people are going to respect your delivery or the message that you're trying to get on that. And I'm like, I see the message.
Let me slow down before we get too far.
Wait, real quick, because you brought that up real quick. Let me just ask you this question, because this really, to me, highlights how social media, once a wave gets going, people ride that wave. But in reality, energy-wise, like, let's take the song out of it, just energy-wise, how much different is the energy in that music video any different than Childish Gambino, This Is America?
Nothing. It's exactly the same. It's a little bit more.
It's about the same energy. Yeah. It's the same amount of creativity. Maybe the symbolism is different, but as I said before, I think that the song and that video were a mismatch. But I do think that if Childish Gambino made that same music video, people would be calling him a genius right now.
Right.
I agree. I think there's a couple things I want to kind of rewind and kind of take a further look at, because you guys mentioned a lot of stuff here. First and foremost, I want to touch on the aspect of where music is being pushed now, because you guys commented on like club culture and that being a thing. I can definitely assure you guys, as somebody that's been to a few clubs here in Atlanta, that shit is dead. It is, club culture at this point now is more so a stunting fest where niggas are going to stunt money, flex bottles, whatever it may be. They'll have like women that'll like throw ass in the section, but they're still not really throwing ass on the dance floor itself.
Hey, can I ask you a question about the club in 2025? How is everybody in VIP? How does everybody have a section?
Everybody wants to feel special. Everybody wants to feel special. If you're not in VIP, you're a woman trying to finagle her way in there so she can be around important people, or you're a dude trying to, like, hell, half the time the dudes won't even be going if they can't get a section or get up. There'll be dudes that will go and like 5 niggas will split money to get a section or get a bottle, and you'll have like 15 niggas in one section. The issue that you have is that, to your point, back in the day when you're looking at house parties and things of that nature, the DJs used to put DJs and even the radio host used to put a lot of artists on. They would play certain music or whatever it may be. Some people would get connected with certain DJs, be like, hey, bro, play my shit in the club or play my shit in your set. And it's how certain shit would get on. Because club culture has moved away from that, that's not really a barometer or a good way to introduce new music for the most part. Maybe at a strip club, maybe, but that's only to like older people for the most part. Younger audiences that are really going to like be blasting this music all day because they have the time, they're not checking for a strip club or club music. Mostly because they can't even get in one. They're not old enough to get in one if we keep it above. When you're looking at, even because I know Liv talked about the house parties. There's somebody I'm pretty sure they're still having kickbacks. I'm still relatively fresh out of college, and I was having kickbacks, and I remember
kickbacks.
I remember when NLE Chopper like first popped off. I first heard his music at a kickback. Like, niggas were playing Shot of Flow 2 at a kickback, then the remix with Blueface and shit. And I was like, oh, Buddy Hard. That's how I got put onto him initially. I feel like those aren't happening as much, but what I feel like the biggest issue is, and this is where a lot of music perspectives are coming from, are the content creators that we're allowing to have overall indicative opinions on the music and on the culture. Because what happens is album drops and there's a slew of different YouTubers, streamers, or creators that are reviewing to the music or reacting to the music live. And people that are fans of those people are usually going to take what they say and not form their own opinion. And the sad thing is, again, Zeus and B-Lou, when I was growing up, that was an era. Like, watching them niggas freestyle and have their like little funny jokes and shit during music was cool. But as you get older, I realized, oh, these niggas are still popping, but they aren't and have never really been able to intellectually break down the music or what made the music good. They saw like maybe a couple hot lines there, because remember the niggas were reacting to fucking Montana 300 back in the day. That's when he was fucking really popping. And they'll react to the punchlines, but they're not really understanding what the niggas actually saying or anything to do with the production behind the fact. They're really surface level with the shit. We're looking at a nigga like DJ Academics, who his whole claim to fame obviously was like fucking reporting news on reported drama and shit in Chicago.
I hate the fact that they called this nigga DJ Academics. Like, is this nigga ever been a DJ?
I believe he used to be a DJ, and then he just pivoted.
Was he any good?
Shit. I don't know.
He is a gossip. He is a gossip.
He's a gossip queen for sure.
He is Wendy Williams. He's a fat chipmunk looking Wendy Williams. Fuck him.
Oh, he on Ozempic now. That nigga skinny now. He built weird.
Bitch.
He still look like Jerry Mouse. I'm never gonna get
the same head, but he's got a skinny body now. It looks fucking weird. But the issue with him though is that with the way he talks about music and pushes music goes back to what your point being, the music having no staying power. He's really big on pushing like first week sales, second week sales, like first and second week sales for like on his streams and on most people's social media, whatever it may be when they're covering music. Those are the big barometers in a lot of those people's opinions as to how good a album is. And it's so pushed that when you hear people on Twitter or whatever in whatever small forums, when they're discussing a record's success, it's always first or second week sales. They're never asking, okay, how is this music being perceived in the culture? How was the quality of this music? It's always the pure numbers. And it gets into a bigger issue when you're looking at how artists are curating those albums, like how goes into what you talked about. I very vividly remember a Boss Man D-Lo interview where they were asking him about like his process of making music, because all the niggas songs were like a minute and 30 seconds, maybe 2 minutes long, and he was, and they were asking him like, why do you like structure your shit like that? And he was like, it's a cheat code, because 9 times out of 10 people are gonna rewind it back to the hard part anyway, like to the hook. So I just make the hook most of the song, and then I get it in like a verse or two, and niggas gonna replay that same song or that same moment over and over again in its digestible form. So he's blowing up and making hella bank off of that, and that's how his numbers are getting inflated. So you're looking at that, a lot of niggas are gonna replicate that formula where you're dropping 10, 12 10, 12 record songs that are shorter so you can get the replayability aspect of it. Now, I will say there are certain artists who are pushing that needle. They just have really weird fan bases and they have a really weird place in the culture. I still am a big advocate for someone like a Travis Scott for the factor of he does and tries weird shit. I know me and Greg had a discussion a while back on like album of the year versus I can't remember the name of the I almost called the nigga Big Crit. What's that nigga's name in Atlanta? Oh my God, I'm blanking on his fucking name. Killer Mike. Thank you, Jesus Christ. I just woke up from a nap. The Killer Mike album versus the not Astro World, fucking Utopia album. I love the Utopia album because it was like him playing around with the production and doing weird shit, and the songs were like they're Travis Scott shit. Like his songs are usually longer because he's playing around with a lot of production. He's not saying too much shit and not rapping like incredibly well. He has that like that post Yeezus Kanye flow where he's like putting shit together, but it's not very layered in regards to the lyricism there. But it's entertaining though. But the production is fucking pushing the needle in regards to like what people are doing in modern day. And there are other artists who do that as well that I think play around with that stuff, but because they don't have the not mainstream push, they don't have the social media grasp that somebody like a YoungBoy has, because YoungBoy has definitely been someone who is, he has like to Nick's point, he has the ability to relate to a lot of the younger people, but he also is like in a social media theme because he was posting all his music to YouTube. He would put like 15 fucking albums of the year, like he's fucking Gucci Man in 06, but dropping all that shit to YouTube. So you're dropping all your music in mass quantity to the place where the youth are going to listen to that shit the most for free.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how he's blowing the fuck up, and then the streamers go. So it's this weird formula that you see artists try to dive into, and I feel like we're getting to a point now where I think Kendrick had a lot to do with this, because I think probably Drake is the face of this, obviously, because he's the most mainstream rapper probably damn near ever in regards to popularity and pop and just being there. Because Drake had made people like. Because Kendrick made people hate that nigga, even niggas that were writing for Drake before the fucking beef, all of a sudden hated that nigga all of a sudden, like the span of 3 months. Because he got taken down, and it seemed like you saw a lot of artists say, oh shit, niggas don't fuck with Drake anymore. Let me try to lean into the Kendrick shit and either diss Drake, or let me try to like be more going back to my roots. Because we saw a lot of that this year with a lot of the artists. Some of the artists were a little bit older, so they always had those roots, like the Clips. Or even like JID, I think his music still, for the most part, was a lot like that. But when I listen to somebody like a Dave East, where Dave East has had a kind of a mixed bag of staying in his lane and doing like the traditional hip hop shit, where he's more true to himself as an artist. But he also has been on some tracks and put out some tracks where it seemed like he was trying to make a hit. Niggas like Jonah Lucas was like that too, where it's like, yeah, you have the ability just to rap your ass off, but I can see when you're trying to force a hit, like that shit he did with Chris Brown years ago. Where the niggas were in the back of that truck. Like he has there, and then a lot of artists are like that. They're trying to force a hit, and it's not genuine.
Yeah, and you got to be careful, because like when you get in that lane where you're trying to force a hit, that's when you get things like J. Cole making like Mr. Nice Watch. You know what I'm saying? Like,
or what's that shit he was talking about with Let Nas Down Workout, when he was talking about how much he did that fucking movie?
I mean, and Workout wasn't really a terrible song.
Workout was a good song, but Let Nas Down is, if someone asked me what hip hop is, I played the remix, because that response by Nas is hip hop. He said, I ain't mad at you, young king. I'm just how he went into it. But my point, I wanted to point out the damn, you said a lot of good points, and me going on that tangent kind of let me lose it. But the NBA young boy, damn. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
To go on him really quickly, to kind of, I guess, push the conversation forward towards maybe where y'all were going with it. He is a very interesting anomaly, and I think there are a lot of artists who try to replicate what he
that's
is.
What it is.
And it's hard to replicate him for the factor of, again, he's so authentically him, even that's sometimes a bad thing, but he's so authentically him, and he puts his music out in so much fucking quality on application in the past. Like at this point, I don't think people understand NBA YoungBoy has been around for damn near a decade now. He's been around for a long time.
And you know why, like, all of a sudden he's getting so big is because it's like, I feel like, and Perry could attest, for the longest I have not cared for like YoungBoy at all. But in this last stint, it looks like he might be the last modern example of what artist development brings you. And traditionally, artist development is something that you work with, that you go through the record label, and they invest this money and they invest this time, and you find your pocket, and then you build upon that, and you establish a audience along the way. But for him, he's basically done it by himself. I mean, I'm sure he has a team, but like you said, he's been kind of in the mud, on social media, YouTube, fucking up. People have been in his life, all in the mix of his business, all the while still putting out music and kind of like changing and growing. And it's like this time that he stepped out, it's undeniable. You know what I mean? Like, and this is for me, someone that's never been a fan, but I see the movement that is behind this dude, and it's like, you can't hate that, but that comes from him making the type of music he wants to make, being consistent, catering to his fans, and like ultimately kind of going back to what you were saying about just like the way that things happen in the way that music is marketed nowadays towards certain groups, and how things in the club and all this stuff happens. Two things I want to kind of bring up. One, did you guys ever see the thing with Steve Lacy, how he crashed out at a concert?
No, actually.
So Steve, this happened like around the time that I Wish I Knew You Wanted Me thing, or was out. And like, if like, I'm not a huge Steve Lacy fan, but I've heard enough of his music.
Nobody knew the actual lyrics of the song.
Yeah, and that's where I'm getting at. He did a performance where the crowd was dead, And he's just like, you know what, fuck it, here, have it, and performs the one song. The crowd goes crazy, and he's just like, you can just see it on his face. He's like, what's the point? And though I'm not a Steve Lacy fan, I've heard enough music of his to know he is someone that cares about the craft. I think that what we need to kind of focus on is, at one point, your DJs, as well as a few gatekeepers, were the tastemakers of hip hop and its music and its culture. Versus today, the tastemakers are whatever goes viral.
Yeah. I think the issue. Go ahead, Barry.
Yeah, because I want to not to like go too far back, but it was your point to everyone dissing Drake, and hopping on the Kendrick wave on like dissing Drake as well. That goes and ties like Kendrick did not like Drake for real, does not like that nigga at all. That's why people felt him, because he was authentically telling you, I do not fuck with him. Drake was like, I don't fuck with him either. So people felt both sides because they are authentically being themselves in this moment, while everyone else is just trying to be like, hey, they trending, let me get on this train so I can trend too, so my shit can sell. And that goes to ties in the NBA YoungBoy. He's being himself. We have to allow these artists to be themselves so they can develop music that they think is creative. In my honest opinion, the last two great creative hip-hop artists that I've ever seen in my life, and I'm 33 years old, and I'm talking about they've been experimental since the day they came out. Busta Rhymes, Missy Elliott.
I can say that, yeah.
That, like, Busta Rhymes is a huge movie buff, especially black movies. Hell of Eddie Murphy movies and things like that. Missy Elliott, you see what she did. They were authentically them. So it's time for us to let this, whatever numbers, letting these people dictate what's popular because of first week sales, let that shit die out. And allow people to come in to be themselves. Like, be experimental, be yourself, make music that you want to make, and allow it to curate slowly. Stop trying to do popcorn music to get on you're able to, and this is me just getting my technology bag. You can manipulate the algorithm if you understand what you're doing. You do not have to go with the algorithm, manipulate it, because data can change. Data can be turned into your favor, manipulated.
So hey, look, so it's funny. It's funny that you say this about the data and putting away the sales and all the hype behind that, because today, knowing that we were going to do this, I got to Google and did a little bit of research because I was curious. Got to talking to Gemini, and I asked Gemini to formulate a list of 10 artists that were prominent in the 2000s up to 2015, right? That are prominent artists during that era that do not have a platinum record. Okay, now this is the list. Now, before I give you this list, imagine some of these cats you probably not gonna remember, but imagine some of these people on here, if they came out, didn't go platinum, and would have just disappeared, how different the game would be.
Okay.
Talib Kweli, Jean Grey, Little Brother, Lupe Fiasco, Currency, Immortal Technique, Most Def, Joey Badass, Schoolboy Q, and Pusha T. All artists that before 2015 did not have a platinum selling record. Could you imagine if we just swept Joey Badass under the rug? If Most Def never got the chance to do what Most Def did,
right?
Because he wasn't commercially successful. Like,
he's a hell of an artist.
That's even like Currency. I'm not the biggest Currency fan, but anybody that fucks with Currency knows like that. Like, completely different artist than he was when he was dealing with Wayne. I will say
I do think there are still artists today that are in that same vein of they're somewhat popular to people that listen to rap music, but they're still relatively underground. And my key example for that would be something like Ski Master Slump God. Like in 2015 or like whenever I was in high school, that whole era, Buddy was like, him and X were popping, where them niggas were doing all the weird, wacky raps and shit. Like this nigga, Ski Master was rapping on a fucking Codename Kids Next Door beat. And that shit was like the coolest thing to us in high school. But he never really had the super major commercial success. He had the one, I think, matter of fact, I may be lying. I think he got the one hit where he did the one track to the Missy beat. I'm trying to remember what the name of that fucking song was. The Naruto Nine Tough Fox Coat Bird. I feel like a Gucci ad lib bird. That I think that song may have went platinum because I know it was like his biggest song to date. But there are artists like that where they are still relatively more underground, or even somebody like a Joyner Lucas. For like, if you listen to rap music, you know who they are. You may like a couple of their songs, but to your point, to the people you're pointing out, they probably didn't push the needle as much. I feel like they more so called back to other people. What I will say to your point though is, I do believe that there are plenty of these artists that the artists that we're talking about that we want to see more of. Again, I kind of goes back to my Joe point of these artists exist. These artists are putting out music, but it's who we're letting promote the music that's fucking this thing up. Because me and you listen to a JID album, right? You already know how I feel about JID. You know how I get down with that nigga. I'm in the chat. I glaze this nigga's music all the time. I made this nigga great listen to an entire album and did like another extra song or two in another album before that.
And it was good.
Nigga makes great music, but he doesn't get the same level of push on social media as somebody like a Young Boy or somebody like a Drake. Insert popular artists on the internet here because of his subject matter, obviously, and it's weird because he gets some, like, I think just because he's a good team and because Cole's backing him a little bit, is that he'll get opportunities like making song tracks for Judas and the Black Messiah. Like the movie soundtracks he's been on, he has fucking great songs. The Judas and the Black Messiah song he had with Masego and Rhapsody on that album, on that soundtrack, fucking fire. The track he did on the Creed 3 soundtrack, great. Whenever he puts out music, it's great music, but it's just not. It didn't catch on as well because he's not. I don't think JID's a hit maker per se. He has a couple hits, like he had the surround soundtrack that popped off, obviously because of the TikTok shit. But
But look, that's what I'm saying. That goes back to exactly what I said. Is the tastemakers are no longer the gatekeepers and the DJs. It is the viral moment. Because think about this. Dave East came out as Nas's artist. You know what I'm saying? At an era that didn't mean anything. Most people today, unless you're really ingrained in the culture, you don't know who Dave East is. You know what I'm saying? Like you look at who was another JID. Like some people don't know who JID is. We know that JID comes out as J. Cole's boy. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't realize that. Even the same thing when you go with
half the niggas on TV if we keep it a buck. Or
like you talk about Baby King. You know what I'm saying? Like these are people that are coming out at a point to where, and I'm not saying they're relying on that cosign, but we live in an era where a cosign from a tastemaker doesn't mean anything for you. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's why when you really pay attention to it, the Drake stimulus package don't work like it used to. Because you don't need the Drake stimulus package to get a big record anymore. That's why we've had several of these Sexy Red songs that came out and failed, even with the Drake stimulus package on them, even with the Bruno Mars stimulus package on them.
Shade you threw at my baby Sexy
Red. I mean, it is what it is.
Perry, fuck.
I mean,
let her go.
It's about the viral moment. And the reason it's about the viral moment is because right now the music industry is setting it up to be about the viral moment because it's easier for them to go find a not Sexy Red. What's her name? The one that talks about poop. Ice Spice. It's easier for you to take an Ice Spice, throw $100,000 at her, milk her for worth of millions for what she is, and then capitalize off of these management deals. You're taking 30% or whatever it is off of all these endorsement deals she's getting, and then when she falls by the wayside, you put her off. You invested $20,000, $100,000, $500,000 in her. You made back tenfold what that is, and then you go do it again. The era of investing long haul into an artist, did either of you ever get the chance to go back and listen to J. Cole's podcast series about his process up to Forest Hill Drive?
I never finished it. I only listened to like the first episode, I think. I never went back to finish
it.
Yeah,
go listen to it because when you listen to his story of him being there, them sending him with different producers, them trying to find the hit, them taking the time to understand him as an artist, letting him take the time to understand himself as an artist, to build up to when we actually finally got Forest Hill Drive and got Born Center. And even though we did get good sales out of Sideline Story, it's not the greatest album, but the story of how that it just don't happen with artists no more, because it's not the return isn't fast enough and it's not big enough.
I think so. I think my key example of somebody that I would look at is somebody like two artists in particular, actually. Two being women artists. I think Meg and Lotto are probably two key examples of that. I think people look at Meg now and how polished she is now, but I don't like Meg now as a artist isn't who she was when she first came out. Lotto's been very public talking about how, I think at one point a couple years ago, she talked about how she didn't think her skills as a performer were very good, and she talked about how she was actually going through development, and she was either her label was putting her through it or she was putting herself through development on how to like perform on stage and shit. And now we're seeing Meg do fully choreographed performances with her songs. And I think even Glorilla to an extent was starting to get in that same wave when she was touring with Meg. You start to see her go through being like choreographed.
Hold on, Greg, before you go, Charlie, I can actually attest to that because my wife, every female artist that you name, she loves them. Cardi, Meg, Glow, Lotto, and Jack. My wife has been to their concerts, and she can attest. She went to the Meg concert and Glow, and said their performance, how they held the stage, was absolutely amazing. And then when Glorilla came into town, she was headlining. She said, "I don't know what the hell the male artists were doing. They don't even know what the fuck they were looking like." But Glow held a strong stage presence.
But you know what that comes from now? Like to like support what you're saying, what y'all both saying, really. When you look at Glorilla, she like listen to her album, everyone said the same thing. It sounded like her album came out of a time machine. It seemed like something that came out of like that 2010 era, 2015 era. It was very polished. She wasn't so egotistical that she couldn't go get an actual R&B singer to sing her hook. It was like when you listen to her, when you look at Meg, who was clearly like a kid of UGK, like she is a UGK baby.
Not just UGK, Pimp C, nigga, specifically.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then literally with Lotto. Lotto literally came, though she's younger than a lot of the women artists that are running around. Lotto came up in the era, was like literally Jay-Z's next like kid rapper after Bow Wow. So while she wasn't always in prominence, she came up and was like basically cut with the steel during that era, and that's like what molded her and what helps her to develop today. And those are all artists that make music that, one, I feel like they want to make, and sometimes the music that they want to make ends up just being a hot single. Like, I don't, as much as I do like Cardi B. My wife loves Cardi B. I don't give her as much credit, because the difference with Cardi B versus, I feel like, with Meg versus Glow and with and Lotto is there's so many other chefs in the kitchen in the situation with Cardi a lot of time.
She's
you get with those other artists.
She's talked about it, but also again, I've heard Cardi say she studied hip hop for a long time. Learning how to rap. I have to give a test to somebody who said, no, I study the game, even though there's other people in there helping me. I can give 100% respect to that.
I can tell she does because of the imaginary players, that she dropped on the Jay-Z beat. Like you can't, like, and a lot of people have an issue with that song. I think it's dope. I was surprised that it came from her, but I also thought it was dope. And unless you at some point decided that you were going to study the game and study the history and come out and hit with something like that in 2025, you can't do something like that unless you have been doing your homework.
Greg, Charlie, sit down. Let me talk to Greg real quick. Greg,
sit down, what I do?
So you bring up a good point about studying the game, right? We keep sharing clips of a particular band on Instagram amongst each other, to the point that one of the greatest drummers of all time was like, I gotta go fuck with these boys. You can tell that studying the era that you love so much and caring for it will curate a grassroots community that's going to support you no matter what, because you are catering to a time that is a remembrance of something that you cherish so much. And I can see that in a lot of these hip hop artists that care. I don't care how old they get. Nas put out a project, I'm fucking with it. Jay gonna put out a project, I'm fucking with it. Kendrick Cole, I'm fucking with it because they care about something that I know I can get away and just listen to them. I need this type of energy at this point in time because it's now not just a different era, but the same era where I was able to become about something. So it's just you have to care. If you care, I promise you, things is going to grow. And I mean, you could say that about Aubrey. I'm not the biggest Aubrey fan, but during the time he had a long run. I think the last album that I was like, hey, this shit hard was Nothing Was the Same. And that shit was, I mean, that shit had bangers from beginning
but
end.
nothing was the same. Like after that, then what? Maybe if you're reading this, you're too late. But then after that, he started to just lean into like the, I don't even want to get into it all the way because you know how I can get. Right. But it's just one of those things. That's just classic of like when an artist stops growing because you can see the growth in Drake from his first couple albums. And his first, Drake's first 3 to 4 albums, I adore them. You know what I'm saying? Like it's hard to listen to those albums and not be great with them. But then, it was like when he started getting gangster. When Drake started to get gangster, he started becoming unauthentic with who we knew him to be. Is around the time the growth in his music stopped. And I think, we
talk about private, but I agree, man. It's just if you love hip hop, you're gonna give respect when respect is due. You know what I'm saying? And you have to give that to Aubrey and his project that he's done. Like, to me, a lot of times, I'm not going to get into it. That's a whole different topic. But to center back to what we were talking about, I honestly believe hip hop is at a point in time where it's not dying. It's in a perfect state. You guys are now listening to people who love hip hop, who care for hip hop, who love the artistry. People who, again, my homie Rich, he's a hip hop artist and he loves the game to the point where he was telling me like he raps a point about things that happened to his time that were traumatic, and he uses music as therapeutic as a way to heal himself. And sometimes you get some of the best tracks. And he felt as though, am I wrong for doing? It's like, no, man, you have found something that is healing for you. And that's what hip hop is to a lot of people. And we're hearing that at this point in time. And I wish more artists did it. I mean, shout out to my Dead Silence, local artist in Indiana. Fire. Great beat selection. So there is definitely you're just listening to a point in time where people actually care about it. I don't think it's dead. I think it's thriving more than ever. It's just point in time where you got to sit down, listen to the music, see, and there's tons of music that you can bump and listen to. Man, like because a certain particular friend group of your 5 imaginary friends that don't play it, that I know you don't have friends on, they ain't playing this shit, don't mean that shit's not rocking somewhere else. Because
niggas
want to bump Nipsey until the marathon, but Greg knew I was bumping Nipsey before anybody.
Look, this is what I'm gonna say right now. Today, Wale album came out. I don't know if y'all heard it yet. Superb.
Not yet. No.
I heard it was decent.
It's dope. It's dope. I listened to it today, and it's got a lot of like traditional rap, some Afro vibes on there. Little like it's dope. Yeah, I was enjoying it. T Grizzly dropped today. You know what I'm saying? Lola Brooks, Wiz Khalifa just dropped the anniversary Cushion OJ. What? What are you talking about? I'm talking about rap, not R&B. Talking about some. Don't forget my girl. Summer Walker dropped. Says my wife, y'all. Summer Walker dropped.
Summer Walker needs to go heal. That album was boo boo.
Hey, there's some bangers on there. There's some bangers on there.
Once I seen that interview she did with Speedy about me, I'm like, yeah, you're still hurt. You gotta go do some healing.
Hey, you know it was vicious. She put the Sugar Daddy on the cover.
Nigga, that's tough.
Tough.
Hey, that's diabolical. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm just fucking with you, Summer. I fuck with some of them tracks on there.
But you know what I'm saying? But as we go through, G Herbo just dropped. 2 weeks ago? We got do y'all even know Lefty Gunplay? You know what I'm saying?
I've heard the name
he's
before,
on
but I
here.
haven't heard a lot of his music before now.
Yeah, he's a West Coast dude. He's slick though. You know what I'm saying? But it's like if you keep going, that's just in the last couple months. That's not the fact that we GNX dropped late last year. We got a new Big L album this year. We got a new, and I know a lot of people ain't with the old school vibes of hip hop, but the Bob Deep album that just dropped, produced by Alchemist, was amazing. You know what I'm saying? The Dave East project, amazing. The Kodak Black album, amazing. The what was it? Hit Boy and Alchemist did an album together rapping. Amazing.
Bro. I'm gonna need niggas to I need people to go ahead and tip their hats off to that man Alchemist. He has put in some work.
That's
together.
what I'm saying. Didn't he this year alone? Didn't he did the Larry June and 2 Chainz album?
Larry June. There's 3 albums that he dropped this year.
And then the Freddie Gibbs and the Freddie Gibbs Alfredo 2 just dropped this year.
I think he did some shit with Big Sean too, I think, right?
Probably. Joey Badass dropped this year.
I don't know if y'all heard, but Jadakiss and what's his name? Benny Single dropped a track this year, which was just
don't want the Busta Rhymes feature on it.
Oh my God! Talk about hip hop.
Look, that's tenderism right there. The meat was falling off the bone. I'm just saying, like, it's like you cannot say like I think we have just gotten too wrapped up in these LeBron James ass statistics. We've gotten too wrapped up in the light.
Okay.
We got too like wrapped up in these first number sales that people are pushing. Like, but there's amazing music out there. Like I said, that's one of the benefits of my new job is like I sit and I at my desk all day and I'm just able to listen to music. Like, there's just so much of it out there. So much good hip hop. Like, I just think that people just got to get off of this, like, looking for the viral moment. Y'all got to stop going to the concert so that y'all can pull out your phone and take a selfie video from that one viral moment that everybody knows. Like, spend some time, sit with these albums.
I'm at a point now to where if I go to a concert, I try not to record. Now, I made the exception when I went to the fucking Anderson .Paak concert because
we know.
Yeah,
we know.
I had to. That shit was.
We know.
That was peak. But I try now, if I go to a concert, I try to make it a point to not record it, just be in the moment of the performance and just live there versus living through my phone, seeing the shit.
Yeah.
Maybe
absolutely.
get a couple seconds of like a first set or something to let people know you're there. Maybe the end or maybe one song in particular. I don't know, but there's too often where I see people sit there with their phone out 24/7 recording the whole fucking show, not really like watching what's going on, and they're just like they're not in the moment.
Right. I'm not doing that. I'm living in the moment. That's how I know that.
But
see, you got to see your artist. I'm sad.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm still. You know what? I'm still trying to save for this Japan trip in March. But this nigga JID announced a tour.
You're
going to Atlanta. I'm like,
there's no.
Because he's the only dude on Greenville I haven't seen live. When I went to the Cole, the all-season tour in like what was that 2021, I saw all of Dreamville pretty much popped up for the most part. Like Ari popped up, Dr. Dot and Venus, and Dr. Dot and oh my God, you know what I'm talking about? The fucking oh my
Random
God,
ass Omen.
No, well Omen was. I don't think Omen was there. Fuck, I'm blanking on these two niggas' name. New Wave Outcast. Oh my God, it's how I know I'm fucking tired.
Talking about Earth Gang?
Earth Gang. Jesus Christ. Johnny Venus.
Yeah.
Dr. Dot and Johnny Venus. I was trying to remember that nigga's name. They were there. Boss was there. I think the only nigga that may not have been there was I don't think JID. Maybe Jay was there. But I'll say all that to say people don't live in a moment. And I think that's a good spot to kind of move into the next topic of discussion because there was another big topic to discuss. Partially over artists that I know both of y'all love that I was not very familiar with until his passing, but more so having to do with the artist that is a big fan of him that people did not think would be a great fan of his because he has a fucking toxic ass fan base and he curated this, being Tyler the Creator. So obviously this goes back to the passing and RIP to a real one of Angelo passed away in I think mid-October.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
When he passed away, obviously a lot of people that were fans of his music and fans of R&B had a lot of positive things to say about him. One of which being Tyler, the Creator. I was not aware that Angelo was such an inspiration to Tyler because Tyler did like damn near a whole tribute to him, I believe, and put a couple posts about him. But one thing that was surprising to a lot, well, at least to him probably, was when he made those posts, a lot of his fans had a lot of toxic shit to say, usually calling D'Angelo, gay or, playing around with sexuality and things of that nature. People that aren't aware of who this person is. And for the most part, these seem to be, if you had to guess, white fans that he curates. Because for people that aren't familiar with the beginning of Tyler, the Creator's career, he was an edgelord. The nigga would say wild shit on Twitter.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Even if you watched his, if you watched was a Loiter
He was,
Squad.
he was Black Eminem.
Swim. Yeah, he was literally Black Eminem. If you watched Loiter Squad back in the day with him and Taco, the niggas were doing weird shit. He was just a super edgelord, and he curated his fan base. That I didn't really understand how much of an edgelord he was and his fan base until I went to college. Keep in mind, I talk about this shit all the time. The college I went to is the area is incredibly racist and it's incredibly Caucasian and it's in the deep country. And there are always artists that pop up in the rotation for a lot of these country dudes that always surprise me. Tyler, the Creator, is the main one. I heard niggas listening to, what was the fucking shit he did with Vince Staples way back when on that fucking grimy ass beat? You know what I'm talking about? I'll look it up in a second. But niggas would play that song and play other Tyler songs, and it would blow my mind because I'm like, damn. At that point, I wasn't super familiar with a lot of Tyler's older stuff. I was more familiar with like the Cherry Bomb stuff when he was kind of leaning into a lot more of the soul stuff. So in my mind, he's like a super Black artist. But when I went back to listen to a lot of his older stuff, it's very apparent that Tyler was like in that nasty edgelord bag. When he was first started up Our Future and things like that. The song Who That Boy?
Definitely.
Who That Boy? No, was it Who That Boy?
I don't think I've seen who That Boy, but like, but I'm
him and A$AP Rocky.
Because I remember the first time I seen him, when he dropped Yonkers, and that music video came out, and the music video was literally him sitting in the chair eating like these giant cockroaches.
Yeah.
And then he ate the cockroaches. By the end of the video, he hung himself somewhere in the middle of the song. Can I say that on YouTube? He blanked himself. My bad.
Yeah.
But then like somewhere in the middle of that, he was talking about sexually explicit things that he wanted to do with or to Bruno Mars. And I was just like, okay, like, well, I don't understand what this is. But also I saw like during that time that a lot of people that were also, because of the fact he was so Eminem, I'm not even gonna say adjacent, he was so Eminem parallel that a lot of those people at that point that Eminem was kind of like doing his like I'm not afraid, like that's around the time that Tyler the Creator started to come up. So a lot of those people that didn't want that out of Eminem, they started to lean into, and that's I think that's where a lot of his white his white fan base came from.
Correction real quick, it was Hive with Vince Staples and Earl Sweatshirt. It wasn't Who That Boy came out on the
Earl Sweatshirt.
Yeah,
that's a gem right there.
It was on a Flower Boy album, I'm pretty sure. So that was a little bit later.
We got to remember also, Tyler the Creator also grew up on some of the shit that me and Greg probably grew up on, and that was Wild Boys and Jackass. That era was literally like it was something to be like, we expect those guys to do it. Tyler, you're doing it. You have a fucking fan base after that because that's something we expect them niggas to do. But talk about an artist that grew on me. Oh my God.
I don't
And really quick, before we continue there, I want to give this last bit of the news cycle. Obviously, the D'Angelo shit went around where his fans were saying weird shit. And a lot of Black people were, I think a lot of people didn't understand or know Tyler's beginning. I think they were kind of in the same realm where I was, where they caught on to him later in his career when he was getting more Black centric, where the nigga had like Charlie Wilson and other legends in Black music on his music. Because they were surprised when they saw all the nasty shit in his comment sections. And it got to a point to where somebody put a tweet out, right? And I'm gonna put this picture up on screen for people in the stream to see. But I may have to put it up on screen for y'all in a second. But I'll read it out. It says Tyler's fan base hates black music despite Tyler himself having a very deep love and appreciation for it. Nigga has Charlie Wilson, Erykah Badu, DJ Drama, etc. collaborations, and he still refused to engage with black art on any meaningful level, very cannibalistic. And there were a lot of people that liked that tweet, one of which being, drumroll please, Tyler, the creator himself. That being the case, it seemed like Tyler was like really trying to be more vocal about him trying to move away from his past and that particular part of his fan base. And we're still talking about Tyler, but it does raise a question I want to kind of propose to you guys. How much responsibility do you put on an artist for the fan base they curate? Because you're also seeing another artist like NBA YoungBoy catch a lot of criticism because you're seeing all these young black kids at these fucking concerts he's having on this tour wild the fuck out. And there's like a new fucking video every day of niggas fighting after the concert or stupid shit happening because niggas are crashing out. And a lot of people are putting that on him, being like, oh, that's the audience he's curated with his music. Or we saw that shit with some niggas like Kanye, where you started to see Kanye get into that like right wing bag later on, and he's kind of producing that kind of a fan base. And in general, throughout rap history, you always have a rapper who curates this fan base that may act out of what if some niggas is weird. We'll just keep it above. They're either weird or they're really cringy or whatever it may be. How much responsibility do you put on the artist for curating that fan base? Because somebody like a Tyler put a lot of that, like he put a lot of that work in to get that fan base initially. But now that he's trying to grow and move into his next era, that old fan base doesn't want to move into. The niggas don't want to hear Charlie Wilson on the fucking song or Erykah Badu.
So you want to take the Charlie approach? I'll lean towards more the NBA YoungBoy approach.
Okay, so to answer your question, there's two things here. One, I want to highlight for Tyler in his career. I think the moment that this changed for him was there was a distinctive change for him in his music and the way what he put out around. I think it was Flower Boy. I think it was Cherry Bomb. Before that, Cherry Bomb. Cherry Bomb was very experimental, but I think by the time Flower Boy came out, what happened was there was a concert, or I think it was actually a festival that Tyler could not make, and I think in their place they ended up getting Frank Ocean, who's a friend of, or at least at the time was a friend of Tyler's.
Was he Odd Future? I thought. Am I tripping?
I think he was.
You said what?
I think he was an Odd Future. Come to think of it,
he was.
But Frank Ocean took his place at that festival, and Tyler, the creator's fan base, mistreated him to the utmost, to the point where I think that in that moment, I think that's when Charlie really kind of, not Charlie, but Tyler really kind of realized like something wasn't right. Because that's when we started to kind of shift his music more to being out of that era of edgelordness, more into him more so concerned about making sure there were more black ties and more culturistic ties into his music. And today we got Promocopia and Don't Tap the Glass. I
thought Igor was really good.
I love Igor.
Igor is on the other side of that, though. You know what I'm saying? Like Igor is around the time, though I've always been aware of Tyler. Igor for me was the first time I heard him because that was Earthquake, and I was like, what is this dude doing? And just sure enough, year after year, I'm just like, it's to the point. I don't think there's ever been an artist in my like history of loving hip hop that has just come out of nowhere and just absolutely just stole my heart. Pause. But I like at this point, I just feel like musically there's nothing wrong he can do. Don't Tap the Glass. I think a lot of people gave it a hard time. I adore that album. If you follow the rules, you put your phone down, you listen to it, you're active. You want to get a 30-minute workout in and you want to have a good time and feel good while you're doing it. I promise you put on Don't Tap the Glass for that 28 minutes that album runs for, and you get your 30-minute workout in, you will feel fucking phenomenal by the end of that album. I'm sure it's the same thing if you take a power walk, if you're in dance class, if you're on spinning class, whatever. Like, the album is perfect if you use it for what it's for. But to answer the other part of your question, do these artists have a responsibility? How much of a responsibility do they have? Yes, they have a responsibility. They have a huge responsibility. They should capitalize and move and take advantage of the responsibility and the platform and the voice that they have. Because we look at things like Nicki Minaj.
Mm-hmm.
It's the perfect example. There's no reason why Nicki Minaj, who could just say, because she's been up Donald Trump's ass these last couple of weeks, and she has people now that all of a sudden want to be
the worst possible time too.
Yeah,
you
it's
already
crazy.
got all the PDF file issues with your fucking brother
crazy.
and your fucking husband, and now you about to be up Trump's ass now with the Epstein shit.
But at the same time, there are people that defend the PDF file action now because of Nicki. There are people that were doxing Megan Thee Stallion's mother's gravesite because of Nicki. Like, and this is someone where if you can come out of nowhere and all of a sudden voice that you're down with Trump, and you have these fans now all of a sudden that want to be part of, MAGA, then you also have fans that if you would come out and be like, hey man, like, yeah, me and Meg ain't seeing eye to eye, but y'all need to leave her mom alone. They gonna do that. So I think that there is a huge responsibility that you have to understand that while for every fan like us that's gonna listen to the album, they're gonna appreciate the music, they're gonna tune in for the interview, for every 10 of us, there's one of those nut jobs out there that's gonna pull up to the Megan Thee Stallion's mother's grave and desecrate her headstone. And it's like, and when you have that type of audience behind you and you understand that there is a portion of your fan base that acts like that, you cannot weaponize them. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like there is an immense responsibility for these artists to kind of manage that. And I love the fact that Tyler, the Creator, slowly and surely is just like rolling himself around in this gold-plated melanin pool of goodness, and like, and is getting, because like the white fans that are there that have always been white fans and appreciate the artistry for what it is are going to be there. But those toxic people, when he said, I don't trust white people with dreadlocks, the people that took that offensive, because one of my homegirls is a white girl with dreadlocks. Technically, she mixed, but she looked like a white girl. But she got dreadlocks, and she's a huge Tyler fan.
Come on now,
bro. No, if you've seen her, you think she's a white girl. There's no.
If you have black, then I'm giving you the pass. I don't know.
She might be like 30% black, but hey, who's counting the percentage?
Okay, you're right.
But at the same time, those people know who they are and they gonna be okay. But to get rid of these other people, like I'm all for it, man. Like if you can't come out just like what did you say about what's her name? The Sweeney chick. What's her name?
Sydney Sweeney. Yeah.
Sydney Sweeney. If you can't come out and like detest when people that are in your camp that represent the people that are supposed to be the people that pay your bills, if you can't come out, detest those people, say, hey, this ain't cool, this ain't right, then we got a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm with it. Like let's be more responsible with these audiences. Let's step out and let these people know, like, hey, like, I love y'all. This ain't the way that y'all should love me back.
Right.
Harry, tell us about YoungBoy. Tell us about YoungBoy.
So I, to an extent, I believe they have a responsibility to their fan base, but also at the same time, people need to understand these artists don't fucking know you. You owe them no fucking loyalty to throw your life away for them. Think. And so
they're also not your parents.
They're not your parents. So when it comes to NBA YoungBoy, because a lot of people, because Choppa said it in his music.
IQ level of a sponge.
Shout out, I like your dreamer boy. I'm gonna have him on the stream Sunday. Dude is great content creator. But go ahead.
The thing with YoungBoy and his fan base is this is a young man, into my eyes, still learning and growing, who he's authentically him, versus young kids who are lost who are just connecting. Because if you listen to, there's some music out there, I'm like, damn, bro, hurting. And the kids that you've seen that are like,
didn't he go through a Mormon training arc?
Buddy, he's one of the more interesting people, because he had this thing where, again, if you listen to Shot of Flow when he first came out, he was on the YoungBoy timing. It was
Yeah, no smoke.
I am a menace. Keep me a tennis like Dennis. I'm like he was with the shit, and then he went through this like arc where he went through like almost enlightenment in a sense, where he said he went vegan, and niggas said he stopped beating his meat, he stopped having to say he was just like on this path of like trying to be a more enlightened person, which is how you get to that shit he did with what's better, he was on that the King of Kings, the Den of Kings video that I sent y'all a while back, where he's like he's trying. And part of me like loves what he's doing. Another part of me is a little irritated because he's trying to like act like he's more enlightened than what he is.
Oh, he's talking about Chopper. Okay.
Yeah, Chopper.
Okay.
Like he's been through some stuff, and I'm not saying he hasn't been through anything, but he's in like as a young dude myself, when I'm in a room full of people that I know are significantly older than me and has had significant more experience in life and especially in the culture than me, I'm not then going to insert myself and try to like big bro myself to make myself feel like I'm on the same level as them. I'm okay with saying, hey, y'all probably have more of an experience and a perspective than me. I'm cool. I'll give what I have, and for sure challenge niggas that they try to invalidate your experience, but don't try to like always, because he was like the whole video, it seemed like he was just trying to like constantly climb to be shoulder to shoulder with these people that have been around music for forever.
And I want to get to that probably on another stream because I have thoughts on that. It's just when you have with a young boy, he has songs where you see the kids and you're seeing them spaz out in the stands, and then when you listen to the song that he's rapping to, that song has a lot of pain in it, and these young kids is you know what I'm saying, and I'm like they're just trying to relate and connect to it, but we, as the older generation, I hold more responsibility on us because we had artists like that, and we shouldn't be crashing out for our favorite artists, even though we a huge fan for them. And these young kids don't have a lot of guidance, and I don't want to put all that pressure on young boy because he's still, to me, he's a young man that's still doing his thing, trying to figure it out with having 9-some kids.
Am I older than him? Let me check. I'm gonna check that real quick.
You know what I'm saying? On top of, and you got kids following you. And young boy lived a particular lifestyle. So there's certain dictations. So like young boy isn't telling his fan base to go out and crash out on his ops. They're not doing that.
He's telling his story.
He's like a couple months older than me. I did check. He's 26. So he's not crazy old. He's not crazy young either.
You know what I'm saying? I'm
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He's 26.
He's 26. Yeah.
Oh wait, so he came out like at 16.
Bro. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and the things
when people call him the new age Lil Wayne, I don't get mad at that because Buddy, since he was like 16, has been on and going since he was 16. Shit.
That's impressive.
Because
I thought he was older
even
than
the industry tried to block him on YouTube. He's like, I'm gonna put my shit on. I mean, not YouTube, but on iTunes. Put out shit everywhere.
Start putting shit out on YouTube, and his videos would go crazy.
Crazy.
Drop all his music on YouTube.
And so I don't put things like that. And when you have an opportunity to say like, hey, how do you feel about your fans that's doing stuff, trying to impress you or whatever, I think that's an opportunity to say, hey, I don't encourage that shit. I'm just speaking my truth and my lifestyle, and they're connecting to it. That's the point in time you should address it. Outside of that, I can't put that much responsibility on them unless you're dictating them to go to another person's gravesite and desecrate that. That's sick behavior. And that's even when people talk about smoking on your dead ops. You shouldn't tell people to do that, even if y'all beefing with the other side. You know what I'm saying? That's just something I rock with. Hell, I don't even like when politicians tell people to go to a particular building.
All right.
Anywho,
let me ask this question here. It's still within the same framework of the topic, but it's something that was also brought up with the Tyler conversation, is the idea of how much grace do you give to artists who are at any point in their career anti-black? Because there's one clip that I need to find. I wish I would have got it prepared for the episode of the Deontay Kyle Grits Next podcast. He was talking about it, how earlier in his career, Tyler was doing a lot of anti-black shit because when you looked at the media that he was consuming at that age, or like when he was younger, a lot of that shit was anti-black, and he was just saying shit and getting shit off that was in the media and the culture that he was consuming at that point on the internet. And I moved that to more of a modern conversation as well when I'm looking at artists like Snoop, Rick Ross, 50 Cent, Nelly, niggas that were tap dancing at the Trump inaugural celebration or whatever it may be. Like somebody that you know is actively against your people and your audience, it means harm to them, but you're there performing and standing side by side for the bag. You're letting this money affect you and how you position yourself. So when you're looking at him and you're looking at artists like a Tyler, who earlier in his career maybe had a little self-hate, and when it comes to the anti-black stuff, how much grace or how much do you hold these artists at damn near at risk of kicking them out? Well, I can say kicking them out the culture, but damn near probably should be if they're that much against the people that they represent.
Let me do this one. Let me do this one because I don't know what you're gonna say, but I gotta get off my chest. Part one is for me context. With the context of what you're doing, Tyler Creator during his earlier career, like he was probably a little self-hate, but it was also in an era of like literally edgelord, Viva La Bam, fucking Jackass, all that, and you can really see that era tied into what they were doing. And
he was a shock jock. He a lot of that shit he didn't mean. He was just doing for the sake of
doing shit. But if you really sat down and talk, like hear his podcast, the man is in love with black culture. He is a mad black culture lover. Two is the only responsibility that you have is to yourself of what you want to do. And that's if you tap dancing, that you have to live with that. I don't.
Yeah.
You have to live with that. I know what I represent, and I know the morale, what I'm gonna go through, and the path that I'm choosing to take. Your decisions on what you're going to do is on you. I can't dictate what it's not my I don't have the power to say one individual's out the culture, because someone like a Snoop has done so much where it from outside of just hip hop for young black kids in his area in football alone, and helping parents get their kids into D1 schools and even opportunities outside of that. That this one thing that happened, I'm not going to let you kick him out the culture. But am I disappointed? Am I, bothered by it? Absolutely. But as individually, as a man, big dog, there's something you got to live with. I ain't got to live with
you
that
know
shit
what
on my day-to-day.
Let me speak on this for a minute, because Snoop Dogg, I assure you. Now, granted, I don't know Snoop. Is not no family. I think technically he might be related in some weird way, because supposedly he's actually Brandy's cousin, and Brandy is actually my cousin through like 3 like removed cousins and shit. I don't know. Right. But anyway, I can assure you that when Snoop Dogg went and did the inauguration, I think what he did was the same thing that Chrisette Michelle did, in the sense that Snoop Dogg is Snoop Dogg, Chrisette Michelle was not. Okay. And what I mean by that is, I think that Snoop's idea was, well, he is the president. Let's try to just bring this in, and I'm gonna get this bag. I'm pretty sure this nigga Snoop Dogg didn't know. As soon as this nigga got in office, the first thing Trump was gonna do was throw DEI out the window. Because think about this: there have been people like Lil Pump, for instance. Lil Pump aligned with Donald Trump in the midst of what he was doing during his first term. But think about this: when's the last time you've heard of or seen Snoop Dogg next to or even mention or big up Donald Trump?
I think because he got so much heat from that inauguration shit.
But how many things have Snoop Dogg gotten heat for? Like right now, like Snoop Dogg got heat for saying that he thought it was weird that they were gay people in the Buzz Lightyear movie, and he felt weird. He got heat for that. He was just like, shit, I thought it was weird. Turn around this past year, he put a gay couple in his children's show. Got heat for that. He's just like, shit, it is what it is. Like,
I see your point, but I'm not gonna give this. I'm not gonna give a nigga like this bail. More so from the point.
I'm not necessarily giving him bail either.
He publicly even talked shit about Trump. Like, he acknowledged how fucking shitty Trump was. So for you to somebody like, for a lot of people that aren't black or not really in the culture, I don't think y'all understand how integral Snoop Dogg was to not just rap music, but like black culture as a whole. He was an icon, damn near. He is for a lot of people. So to see you with somebody that you obviously understand is a shitty individual and not for your people, because you publicly said it before yourself, and you're so pro-black and such an advocate of done physical things for the black community, for you to then go to this inauguration on the second term after 4 years of seeing what the fuck he was doing, and after an entire election cycle of knowing that we got shit like the big beautiful bill coming or Project 2025, like, all this fucked up shit is coming, your black ass is there. I can't. That's something I have to like check you
Yeah.
with. That's
Yeah.
a stain on your legacy as a member of hip hop culture. That's a stain on your legacy.
And
I don't
that's
give a fuck.
And I
that's
agree. I
something-
agree. I think it is. My only thing is that I don't think he thought it was going to be as bad as it was.
Right, right.
And my
That's
biggest,
my-
that's more of a, for me, it's just like you have to sit and that's a decision you made. And so it's just like if you live with it, dog, that's on you. And as an individual myself, it's just, you know, I'm a rock with who I, you know, aligns with my belief systems and ideology at that point. And you know, I appreciate what you've done because again, I can't negate the fact that you put a lot of young black men into your own football league that went nationally to Florida, Texas, and these young men got on TV and they got put on the biggest stage that you built into these football programs in D1 schools, and you was a part of it. You said again?
It wasn't for his own benefit.
It wasn't. You did that out of because of the kids. So I'm like, you know what I'm saying? It hurts. Now, for other people, you know what I'm saying? Nelly, I'm just like,
niggas like Nelly and like Ross, I get because y'all are capitalists at the end of the day. I understand you've never really been about the culture for real. You were about the money. And you've been very, like you've been, to your point, they're very opportunistic, and they've been very vocal about that and how they moved. Them, I understand them because they've never really, like, me seeing the way Ross did the 85 South show alone, and how that nigga just like did them as a whole thing. I'm like, okay, I see who you are.
Oh yeah, that was dicey.
It was really fucking corny and shit. Like I understand who you are now. Like you do them niggas dirty, they try to check you on that shit, and then you try to little bro them with money. And like, all right, I see who you are. It's just the niggas like 50 and fucking Snoop that really hit me and really hurt me because I'm like, fuck, y'all niggas are supposed to be like the number one niggas down for shit. Well, hell, even 50 probably is a little bit more capitalistic too. When I'm looking at like the way he moves a little bit too, when it comes to like the vitamin water shit with power and all of this shit.
You know what? I'm surprised 50 Cent really surprised a lot of people. I'm like,
I'm not surprised with it.
I'm not. That Curtis, that's you.
It's really Snoop. It's really Snoop. And then the Wayne shit was kind of random, but Wayne, I feel like, was trying to beat a charge too. So that was, I kind of get Wayne a little bit on that one. But even then, it's still, you still got
Lil Wayne always been a little coonish though. You know what I'm saying? Like that nigga was talking about I don't see color back in 2010. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but also I think that nigga in particular is his whole life and perspective is skewed because you've been that popular since you were young. And then I remember he's talked about that story where he like attempted to off himself with the gun, and a white cop came and saved him. So his whole like mindset as a child up until now has been kind of skewed because you've been popular since then. You obviously had mental health struggles when you were young too. So the way you deal with your shit is kind of not giving him any excuses. He still has his own issues, and I hold his feet to the fire as well. But I understand why you're fucking not all there in the head because of the experiences you had as a child up to no doubt.
Yeah, and he's also, let's be honest, like Lil Wayne has been in wealth since he's been like 12.
Yeah.
So, you know, like he doesn't really live in reality. Like he's more or less a Nepo baby. Like as crazy as it may sound. Yeah. Like
I wouldn't go that far because he
like I said, more or less. I know he is from the slums, but you from the slums and you've been rich since 12.
So he was in the slums getting money. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't living that lifestyle. He was just Juvie, BG, all of them with vouch like, no, that, you know what I'm saying? He was there, and that culture in New Orleans where they come from was, you know what I'm saying, to put like an almost nepto, but like, nah, he was just a young, he had a talent. He was, because I grew up on a guerrilla warfare. A lot of y'all, because I want to talk about the verses so damn bad that y'all thought just Master P was wiping, but no, y'all niggas didn't listen to guerrilla warfare. I did. Wayne's there. He's on those tracks. Those album, the mixtape covers, he's there. So he built what he did, even with the guidance of Birdman. Like he wasn't shits and giggles the whole time. Like money wasn't really being seen. So I can't put that on him. Everybody else after that, absolutely.
It's really just the way he navigated like you having, like, you already see people like athletes now that are getting money at like 18, early 20s, and see how they act when they get money. Now imagine you being 12, 14, 15, where you're already not like developed even at a remote level to understand who you are in your worldview. and you're very impulsive that young, and now you're getting all this money to do your impulsive shit, and then we already know you have horrible fucking influences in your life with Birdman like right behind you over your shoulder. With a nigga, I damn near think the nigga was doing some Trump shit with the nigga, where I'm like, you had this little nigga calling you daddy and kissing this nigga in the mouth and shit, and
Yeah,
you a grown dude, you a grown ass man. I'm like,
we will go to my Twitch channel and talk about that, because oh my god, talk about a weird time in hip hop.
bro.
Yeah. Side note, you know, we on the internet. This doesn't happen on the internet much. I'll look right into the camera and say this. It was a bad tape. My bad. My bad.
hey, that's why I had to sit there and get you, bro. I'm like,
you got me.
Because it's like,
but you get what I'm saying, though. More than anything, though, it's like he grew up in it, not in our reality. So it's like that just adds to the fact that he just doesn't see the world the way that we see it, because he didn't have to deal with it.
He had the Michael Jackson dilemma for the most part, where it's like,
your
it was childhood.
It was some slums
like you was a grown
there,
kid you was a grown kid. You was grown up by your age, bro, and then you had to live a different lifestyle. Like, again,
I remember the Block is Hot. Yeah, that nigga was like 12.
Yeah, I need y'all to listen to Guerrilla Warfare, because again, that's a phenomenal mixtape. But again, it's again a perfect example is NBA YoungBoy. Perfect example. Like he's literally Wayne. Like Charlie said it. Perfect example. Young man from the slums getting his money, and you see where he at right now. What the fuck type of responsibility
you think Birdman in his pockets?
Now he is, Now he is.
I don't know what his deal looks like. I don't keep track of the niggas' deals like that. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I will just say this, and I'm going to look at my camera when I say this. I want to apologize to Silk the Shaka by saying he is the worst rapper of all time. I will give this title to Birdman. You are absolutely, huh?
You give it to Gutter?
No, I'm giving it to Birdman.
Birdman.
He is awful.
That
track that he has with NBA YoungBoy is god awful. There has never been a point in time in history where anyone has ever said, "Damn, replay that Birdman verse. That shit was hard." It's never been a moment in history. I don't care how you feel.
I will never forgive this nigga for that Like Father, Like Son album. This nigga Wayne gave us some of his best fucking verses and hooks of his career. And this nigga Birdman proceeded to get on every fucking song and fuck that shit up. Every fucking song. I've been on a 24-hour champagne. Shit was hard. That nigga got on the track. I wanted to gouge my ears out.
I don't got a lot of nights, but I got a lot of checks, money.
Oh my god, bro!
It's like, bro, we get it, bro. You got money, bro.
Richer than the richest. YM, CM, certified. The fact I remember this shit makes me mad. I should remember this verse, but I do. Because I listened to the song so fucking much. And back then I had to fucking record the songs on my phone, listening to like with the pressed against the radio speaker in the car and shit. And I had to play it back in my ear. And you didn't have the ability to fucking scroll through shit.
You know what's crazy? Birdman's best career verse was what happened to that boy that he did with the clips.
Yeah.
And he sullied that by not paying them for that feature. It's like that's your history. That's your legacy in your rap career. Like, we don't got to talk about his legacy of hip hop, but the legacy of his career is Boo Boo.
At least DJ Khaled had the sense to know I don't need to be rapping on these songs. I'll just get the artists together and I'll just make money.
I'm a yell. Right, I'm a yell.
I still look at niggas sideways off the I'm so hood shit, because that shit always like shocks me a little bit. We the best nigga. Like, he says that shit hard as fuck, and I'm like, is he black? He's not black, is he?
But again, to DJ Khaled's defense, that nigga was in the trenches in Florida, getting it in and trying to build his career. Like, he was in Shotters. A lot of people didn't know that he was in Shotters. He was standing with Wyclef at the gas station when Bob Marley's son pulled up and they was talking business. Cali, for where he at now, I respect the beginning, the grind, and the hustle. He got to his point. He a nigga.
We know he can't hang around us. That nigga don't need to eat the box. Come on now.
Man,
Yeah,
that's wild.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm
That's wild.
Miserable, nigga.
I eat all everything.
You know what I'm saying?
Flavor sake. You know what I'm saying?
All right, full
look,
right here.
I'm gonna say though, my favorite thing about DJ Khaled's career is there's two things. One, the moment and the culture that it created at the time that we got our first super collaboration for We Taking Over was a fucking moment. Like it was a moment like none other. It also spawned the women's rap unity that when they did the She's Taking Over remix, which was also crazy. But then my other favorite part is when 50 Cent dissed DJ Khaled and we took him yelling "We the best" into "We depressed."
I remember that. That was maybe like beyond me.
Yeah, it was gold. That was around the time of Officer Ricky was a thing.
The internet back then was so much more fun.
Yeah,
like the short bus shorty shit. We got.
Hey,
my favorite DJ Khaled moment when Tyler the Creator sat there and explained to him. He ain't gonna say it, but that award bothered him. He has to sit with that. I got the award, walked off, and went to go hang out with the boys. His ego won't draw him crazy. When Tyler went on that interview and said that, I was like, yeah, I fuck with that. That's gangster.
Yo, did you ever see the time and Charlie, you probably gonna appreciate this. You're probably too young to remember, but this is 50.com was an era, bro. 50 Cent one time gave the meanest troll to Fat Joe, dog. The meanest troll. Like I'm talking about it was 50 Cent, it went viral, like it was all over TMZ and everything. 50 Cent was rushed to the hospital. Everybody was like, damn, what happened to 50? He got shot again. He's sick. We don't know all this stuff. We didn't know what was going on. This nigga pops up later this day, makes a video of him in a hospital bed.
He was talking about Fat Joe. Yeah, I remember that.
Oh my God. This nigga said he was in the hospital with bandages all over his body, crying. And he said, this nigga said he got noise cancer from listening to Fat Joe's album. It was legit because 50 can act. So he's sitting here acting and he's just like, it hurt. It hurt so bad. Bro, after this thing went viral for like people thought he was really in danger.
I remember that. Like, that so fits like, Curtis MO.
It's like, yeah, this nigga bought out the front couple rows of Ja Rule's concert in the sake of petty, but for him to have this whole elaborate press scheme just to say I got noise cancer from listening to your album, like, man, 50 was a different beast, man. Like, y'all gotta leave that man alone. So if he want to work with Donald Trump, I'm not gonna say nothing about 50. 50,
that show dude.
Yeah,
Fat Joe, that show guy, man.
That ain't I have never listened to a Fat Joe album, bro.
Nigga said, what did the nigga say? She was 16 and had a nurse to that. Had to come back and attack the cat. That nigga,
yeah. We don't condone PDF files unless they actually have data in them. We don't condone, pre-ordering women. We're not doing that.
Tried to buy the DLC later on. Got the fucking accessories.
This nigga he tried to buy the deluxe digital.
DLC coming later. DLC announced later. Fuck.
Oh man,
that's another nigga. I don't know how they. I keep asking y'all because y'all were around when that nigga popped. I don't know who let that nigga get on. Who let that nigga get on?
I never listened to.
He got on from residuals of a Big Pun, and then the one thing I will say about Fat Joe, there was a time like I've never listened to not one of his albums, but I will say there was a time where he managed to always have a hot single. it wasn't even always his song. Sometimes he was just a feature, but
he was on that Make It Rain on the shit with Wayne. He was milking that shit.
He was on Make It Rain. He was randomly one of the hardest bosses at Def Jam. He was
oh my god.
he was on What's Love with Ashanti. Like he was on Lean Back. Was it Def Jam Icon? No, it was a Fight for New York. He was on what was the one song? It was the one with Terror Squad and Lil Jon. We gotta play no games, freaky deaky, because it ain't no like yeah. So like that's always been the thing. Like I've never heard one of his albums, but he has always managed to have a single, or even when he didn't have a single, Remy Ma had a run to where everybody was like, "Oh damn, that's Fat Joe's girl right there." Yeah. So, but I don't think anybody has ever listened to a Fat. I don't know. He's probably never even went like over gold.
Fucking fraud.
He just be around.
And what did that nigga say? That's right. I came in, I smacked the cheek off. I was like, this nigga is so corny. Who let this nigga on?
Bro, hey, the Jada and Joe podcast is gold because Jadakiss knows that a lot of his shit he be saying be some bullshit, and he'll literally just be in his face like, "All right, Joe."
Nigga is not busted a grape in a fruit fight, bro. I'm not. There be some niggas that talk about they used to do back in the day. I'm like, I don't believe you fought anybody, bro. I'm sorry. I can't believe you put hands on nobody.
You could just tell by somebody's demeanor if they did something. I'm like, you know what? Whatever story you're telling, I'm gonna let you live in your reality because out here,
did it, bro.
What Vince Staples say? That nigga said, "You a bitch. Your mama raised a bitch. You a good boy, and that's okay. You a good boy.
No one is looking.
It's okay to be a bitch.
No one is looking at no house, bro. But
oh man,
they got it.
But yeah, y'all, this is again, we had a pretty robust conversation, and it's about time for me to honestly a perfect time for me to close this out here. Before I close this out, is there anything you guys want to plug? Anything you guys want to bring attention to? Your own platform wise, anybody else's stuff before we get up out here?
I can say that I am working on a major opportunity for a country out in Africa. I'm glad to be a part of that. Hence why I've been kind of underground. If you guys want to support or just sit down and talk, please reach out. But I just want to bring to light how grateful I am to be surrounded by a good group of people who gave me this opportunity. Camille, Heather, if you guys ever see this, y'all have no idea how thankful I am to be a part of this. You guys are awesome. And I cannot wait to see what grows from this. And that be on the lookout. We will be hopefully revving up our own personal streams once a month, coming together just to shoot the shits. Because a lot of our bandwidth are opening up. Weekends are back. People are now Monday through Friday again, and Sundays is now available. So that's what I have so far.
Yeah. I'm trying to wrap back up personally on my end. I don't really have anything that I want to plug right now. What I am gonna say is make sure like find an album, listen to it, spin it back, put it on repeat, listen to it again. Live with the album. You know what I'm saying? Like things are moving real fast right now. We get new albums every week. We don't have to buy them. You can just open up something and pop it in. Like, stop making the playlist. Charlie, I know you do this too. Stop making the playlist. You know what I'm saying? Don't find the handful of songs you like and put them in the playlist. Play the album. Let the album grow with you.
In all fairness, I go through an album at least like once or twice before I go default to the playlist now. Come on now.
But once or twice ain't enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, start listening to them. Like, really sit with it 5 times, 10 times. Give it some time and go back to it, because in my last couple years, I find that some of the albums that I did that with that I go back to are some of my favorites. It'll probably be up there with some of my favorites of all time. So I don't need to share those, but just spend more time with your music.
Fair enough. I'm trying to get on my period time at some point and start getting a vinyl collection going. But I told myself I'll wait until I move into a bigger space, because the place I'm living in now, I don't got the space to get a fucking record player and then start. I got like 3 boxes of comics tall over here, like off to the fucking side. Like it's like stacked 3 times up.
Better get you some of these. Is the best thing you're gonna get. That's not vinyl, my boy.
But I want to collect them in the physical. I want to collect vinyls. Like I want to collect physical music. I just again, that's a lot of space for it right now. But as far as stuff I got going on, obviously for people that are in touch with me on any of my platforms, you know, Reaper is at this point 2 weeks out. I have like 2 more pages left to get colored, and then I'm sending it off to the letterer. And then once it's back from him, we're good to start getting those shipped out for people that pre-ordered, and people that pre-ordered the digital edition. You'll get that right away through distribution there. So I'm excited for everybody to get their hands on that. And then once I sit down, I can knock out the scripts for issue 2 and 3, because I already have those like in production slightly as well. Besides my own work, you guys can expect.
Wait, where do we buy? Where do we buy Reaper? Where do we buy it?
Oh yeah, Reaper, for people that are, you know, looking to buy that have not purchased it yet. If you go to Echelon Graphic Novels, the website, literally if you just type in Echelon Graphic Novels, it'll be the first link there that you see in Google. You go to the website, you go to the book category, and you'll see Reaper there, and it'll take you to where you can pre-order the book. And I have multiple covers. I try to get multiple covers for people that have different taste in different art styles. So if you see one that you enjoy more than others, you can have your book in that particular art style. I put a lot of money into get those covers.
Have my signed copy.
Yeah. Yes.
Hey, look, I'm gonna say, please go buy it. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to buy it, because like Charlie, he's kind of a funny looking dude. I get that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you don't like him bald. Maybe you like him with long, beautiful hair or medium thick locks. Maybe that's your thing. So if you like me, if you like Captain, Captain Cyber Cap there, just go buy it for us, because we got to help pick the covers. He let us do that. He let us help with that. Yeah. So if not for that funny looking dude, for us, go buy it. Go buy it right now.
And just side note, please read Absolute Batman.
Oh yeah, I gotta catch a video on that.
He is my favorite. I've never been more happy to see a Knee of Justice delivered. In a way, it was delivered.
The annual, I think he's talking about the 2025 annual that dropped, where he just took out the equivalent of ICE, the Klan, and the police, and it was beautiful. Outside of our own stuff, I do want to shout out my guy, the Anime Academic. He recently did a stream that involved us, actually, that he's going to keep doing, hopefully, the top 5 series and so that he's doing. I had a blast recording. I thought
that was fun.
The first test run came out really good. And I want to support my boy in just doing more content he has fun with, because he's great. He is an inspiration as far as the content creator goes. So shout out to the Anime Academic. But again, everybody that is here, again, for people that are in here, thank you. My boy Blurbox, my guy James, he does great content. He's ramping to do more gaming stuff as well. Outside of these niggas here, he is who I go to for a lot of my gaming news and information. So I'll have his shit linked there. Unlucky Dreamer, appreciate that, dog. Thank you for coming through. You'll see him this Sunday. Me and him are going to have some conversations on comic books and character romances within comics and just media in general. And then obviously to Auntie, to Sis Liv for being in the comment section. I will be talking to her all the time. And get some stuff done. And she was a big help in creating Reaper and getting the beautiful logo I have, as well as doing the credits page for the book and the author's notes. So a lot of the dope stuff you'll see in that book, she is directly responsible for, and I could not think of anyone else that I would want to work on that with me. So again, thank y'all so much for coming in to episode 28 of the Captain's Lounge. This has been Dad Pad Gaming, Cyber Dad, and your boy Captain Diesel. Remember, forever and always. Oh, well, I'm a soundboard. I don't want to work now all of a sudden. Hold on. Nah, I ain't going out like that.
Yeah. We can finish it like the new podcast. I gotta pee.
You gotta pee?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go pee. I'm booting this shit up. I'm not going out. I'm not going out like that. I'm not going outside. Voice might be annoying sometimes. I fucking install a million updates for this shit.
He ain't never been on New Culture, but on one of our old pods, that's the way the pod would always end. I would just be like, I gotta pee, like just before we went off air.
Until he gets us going next week. Be on the lookout for our stream where we're going to go over the nominees of the Game Awards. That happens on Monday. And that's gonna be next weekend. Yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all that.
So I just got volunteered to do some shit. Okay.
Yeah, because you literally played a lot of games, and there's a lot of shit to talk about of Game of the Year. And there's 2 specific games that are not nominated for Game of the Year. I'm going to have a tizzy.
Oh, I'm gonna be up for that. This is one of the first years where I played a shit ton of video games of all different genres. Nigga, I'm there. All right, we got it together. For everyone here, remember forever and always
that I gotta pee.
Peace, y'all.